Wake up, get high, all day through the night, prepare to take flight through the sky. Start your day right. Wake up, get high, all day through the night, prepare to take flight through the sky.
Top of the Wake and Bake, everybody. You already know what it is, man. It's your boy Fax, host of the Wake and Bake Show, baby. Doing what we do best, trying these strains. Today, I have a special guest in the building. It's a blessing and honor to have her here. Big shout outs to Chelasway.
How y'all doing today? How's everyone doing?
Let's get into it. So big shout outs to Chela. Not only is she, for those asking, she doesn't like you to call her Owl Lady. Let's get that right.
Yeah,
or
no,
Bird Lady.
There's a correct term for that. What I do is I practice falconry, which is a sport. So correct term would be a falconer, not an owl lady, not a bird lady, not an animal lover. Everything I do comes with some sort of accreditation. Mm-hmm. I did go to school for veterinary medicine a while ago, many years ago, actually over 15 years ago, to be a veterinary technician. So I did that, and then I also got licensed in wildlife rehabilitation, and I'm licensed as a falconer in the state of New York. So I actually also am applying for exhibition and education so that I can continue to expand on my program, which is do shows where we educate children on conservation and wildlife. So I'm actually pursuing a degree in ecology and conservation to zoology, kind of tied in together. Oh, so wow. That when, because the goal is to expand the sanctuary once we open that, because we don't want to just be limited to farm animals or just birds of prey. I actually want to step into saving a lot of, big cats that are being transported throughout the world, in export and import, and they're being abused. So we're trying to see if we can step in and try to help out a little bit with that. Okay. But we need the land to do that. We need the funding from the government. But all of that takes time. But I believe in,
You're going to get there, definitely.
Yeah, I'm going to get there, right.
Seeing your journey and how, you got started. For the years that I've known you, it's a blessing to even know you that long, Chela. For real. Definitely seeing your journey and, to get in doing what you're doing, from owning a small business to podcasting to dealing with fashion and clothing, and also being a falconer. Yeah. It's like the woman of all, you got all tricks up your sleeve. Yeah, so that's dope.
The Jane of all trades.
Yeah.
Right? The Jane of all trades. I don't believe that humans, with all of God's blessings, the abilities that we've been ordained with, just naturally as humans, if we don't exercise them to their magnitude, how do we know what we're truly capable of? I think that a challenge is always healthy, and I think that every day I wake up and I choose to challenge myself because of the fact that the world already challenges me for what I do on social media. So they already kind of don't think I have what it takes. So I don't feel like I have something to prove, but then to some extent I do. So it's it's weird. I have this ambiguous way of dealing with the social media world, but I don't just have a lot to prove to them. I have a lot to prove to the animals that I'm trying to save. Show them that actually there's humans out there that truly care. And that's, I think, always been my goal.
That's beautiful, honestly.
Yeah.
And I love that. I really love that.
I've always cared.
I really love
Where's
that.
that lighter? Let me get that lighter, because this is getting so sensitive and touchy, because these particular subjects, they do a lot to me. When it comes to animals, I've always been more partial to animals over humans anyway. Okay. I feel like animals, they just don't ever let you down. They're so loyal in their own right, just due to epigenetic coding. They are designed that way. It's innate. So the letdown is just impossible. Humans, even though we're the evolved species, we've evolved in so many ways that we've even evolved in knowing how to step away from compassion. We've learned how to manipulate our own minds into thinking that is not a necessity. It's not a necessity to care. It's not a necessity to believe, and without those things, it takes away from being humane. You know what I'm saying?
It takes away from a lot. Also, your mental state, your creativity.
Absolutely.
It distracts you from what you should be really paying attention to. And I love that you said that. Before we get deep into the falconry and all the other things, let's get into Instagram. Why are these people so upset with you when I got nothing but love for you and everything that you do on the gram? You know what I mean?
2 weeks ago, I put up a post in regards to, I said, You guys always like asking, yo, let me take you out. Shorty, you look good. Let me take you out. Let me take you. I want to take you out. And, you know, they want to take you to these fancy restaurants and they want to go to places that are trending, right? Because wherever social media tells people to go, they follow like sheep, right?
True.
So this is what
that is true.
Is this guy approaching me with real intent, or is he borrowing his feelings and his thoughts from social media? You understand? It's like he's renting his personality from the social media world, right? So then, you know, and that's what I'm talking about. When I said that, I wasn't like speaking directly to the concept of dating, more so than to the idea that people need to stay a little bit more focused on why education is a necessity. Because if this person is trying to pursue you romantically, but they have issues with comprehension and critical thinking, this is a person that overall could be dangerous to take on in a relationship. Okay? This is the person that wants to go to a restaurant more than likely and can't even pronounce what's on the menu. They're not even familiar with the cuisine or the country of origin. You understand? So these people are just doing things because at this point it looks robotic, right? It's this big old pool that everybody's swimming in and they're all doing the same strokes. You know what I'm saying? It's like synchronized swimming, really and truly. When you think about it, it's synchronized swimming, but in a very dirty pool.
That's crazy.
Right? So now I'm watching these people all do the same thing. I'm watching every nice, sexy girl go to the same restaurant, take pictures in front of the same wall. Like, we all know you were there because everyone, they make it their business to notify you by taking a photo in a specific location, because that's what these restaurants, and they're great. You know, it's great for business when you think about it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not mad that businesses are able to captivate people with, you know, the ambiance. That is what business is about. But I think that when people don't have a wider range possibilities of what they can do and who they can do it with, they just kind of like stay in the pool, right?
Stagnant.
They're stagnant. So it's frustrating because I'm always telling people, you know, these men want to take you out on these dates. And I always tell these young women that these men want to take you out on these dates and they want to take you to these fancy restaurants that everybody's going to. They're not really truly familiar with what's on this menu. And even if they have had something that they liked, 9 times out of 10, they've only had it because it's been explained to them. And it's probably something familiar to what they've already ate in the past. Most of these people come in there with these appetites of a 10-year-old, you know, chicken nugget bellies with French fries. But then, you know, they're taking these girls to these elite places because, you know, it's all about the power, the PUSSY. It's why every motherfucker in the world just fly. Every baller that could afford it cop the best ride.
Yeah,
you understand? Right. Jay-Z said it, right? He been said it. So the thing about
shit.
it is, what I'm seeing is men hate women but need them so much. You know what I'm saying? Like, you guys are going.
I love y'all.
You
I
guys,
don't hate
right? You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, like, men will sit there, bash women all day, and then go through hoops to impress them. Even if it's for a short stint. Like, I just want to sleep with her. You still went through a lot to do that. That's a lot,
That's
right?
a fact.
So the thing about it is, why dumb yourself down? If you know that you're just doing it for a good time and you're not truly taking this serious, and you know that when that right girl comes along, you're really going to flex.
For sure.
Not just your pockets, but your intellect. You're going to really try to step into your feelings and figure out who you are because you're trying to make sure that you can establish something healthy with this person. That's the thing. Start weeding that out.
The connection.
You have to start weeding out who's unhealthy and who's not very early on. And that's why I made the reference about going to the library. Everybody was upset, but they didn't understand. I was speaking
direct. They took it as a disrespect.
Like, oh, she's saying, like, go to the oh, you boring. You're not, ain't nobody going to the library. Like, they were really angry. People were still like, oh, she's a whore. She's half naked. Let me tell you something. Being half naked has nothing to do with intellect. Okay, absolutely nothing 100%. At all. I do some of my best thinking in the shower butt naked. Okay, so please. With that being said, let me constantly redirect people that are angry. The truth is that the post spoke directly to those that felt it aligned. That's just all I can say. Because if a person with intellect saw that post, they would laugh at it because they do understand how much the education system has failed our people 100%. And how many people have been compromised academically, right? Not to mention the ones that chose the paths that they chose as far as dropping out of school and having a different form of success or whatever the case may be. And then we talk about how people view success. And that's another thing. People are saying that I'm not successful because I'm choosing to take off my clothes, but I'm talking about intellect. How are you having an OnlyFans, but then talking about having someone who's intellectual in your space? What makes you think that an intellectual person isn't a freak? What the fuck made y'all think that? Let's start there, okay? What makes you think that intellects aren't freaks? What makes you think that that's an issue for them? Don't think for a second. Yeah, come on. They associate like nerd intellect with boring.
The freakiest girls be the ones who's super intellectual.
We're sapiosexuals. We get turned on in a whole different way. You have some of the best sex with a sapiosexual. Come on, stop it. Okay? 100%. But the thing about it is they have never experienced that, because if it's not for drunk sex, like Lil Durk says, right? When he explains it all from front to back and makes it sound so enticing that everybody wants to now drink and then have sex under that guise. Like what they don't understand is, why do I want to give you that lower vibrational version of me? I want to give you the higher version of me so that we really hit it off. We're going to go to the moon with it. They're not even breaking glass ceilings because they're truly not even getting to know who they are. Nobody's tapping into the real version of themselves, because when you drink liquor, not everybody believes that the true you comes out. No, it does. It's not always like that. Sometimes it masks a lot of things and just makes it easier for you to digest the bullshit you're about to do. That's what that can do. So I think two things can be true at once, but I think for the most part, people do it to lower their inhibitions and their standards, because that person ain't gonna meet them. So you got to meet them where they're at, and you needed the liquor to do that. The liquor works as a segue to the bullshit. Like, I need to get to this road. How do I do it? Pour some liquor. It turns into a yellow brick road. Takes you right to the fucking bullshit.
The way you just broke that down.
It's the truth. Not to me. I love that movie. I didn't mean to use that as an analogy. But the thing is, it is the truth. And that's the thing. So I always tell people, like, please don't get upset with me when I mention education. Because me personally, I prefer a man with intellect. That's just me. I'm not trying to impose my logic on anyone. All I was trying to do was tell people, pay attention to who you're taking on as a partner. Even if it's for a short period of time, this person could be extremely chaotic, even in a minute versus 10 years. That's okay, so be mindful. And some people like to associate toxicity with real love. No, I don't think that they walk hand in hand. I think real love is synonymous with communication.
100%.
That's it. End of story. I don't believe in all that other BS. I don't believe in tolerance. I don't believe in using finance as a tool to manipulate and hold on because people are afraid of what life will be like after this person stops taking care of them. Then that means that you'll never challenge yourself. You'll sit there in a pool of pain and you'll blame the whole world for what's happening to you because you won't take accountability. And then that's why we got to laugh at the whole 100 women versus accountability, because that joke, even though it was a joke, it has so much truth to it because there's so many women. Now, I was talking about the men that choose not to learn. Let's talk about the women. The 100%. Women that choose not to learn. 100%. You know what I'm saying? The same way men don't listen, women don't either. Women don't either. This man was giving you signs. You chose to ignore them. Please stop getting angry. Now that you realize that he's a grown man child. Okay? He's been showing you these signs. And the thing about it is, a lot of women, they come in with this complex thinking, if I wait it out, if I put in all the effort, if I show him my emotions, if I'm vulnerable, he's going to adhere to that and he's going to want to covet me and take care of my feelings and my heart. And no, you fucked up with that. You shouldn't have told him nothing. You should have minded your fucking business and you should have waited till the nigga showed you some goddamn interest. Because now you done poured your heart out and now he's over here fucking sowing seeds in it and you going crazy. Like the fuck? Like,
damn, that shit don't
picking
get no
and choosing how to
that
deal
shit.
with you. Like, it's unhealthy. Like, I think men and women alike are at fault for a lot of what they do. I think that society is all jacked up. And yes, it's a big part of social media.
It's social media.
I think social media, and people don't get mad at me now when I say things like that because they're like, oh, but you look how you on social media. Don't get mad because I am a fine-tuned operator of that world. Do not get mad that I know how to navigate through it because believe it or not, I am so grounded outside of social media. I literally know how to put the phone down and go back to a real place. And that's what bothers people too, that I'm not truly connected to that world like they want me to be. I'm just there for that period of time. I post my post, whatever, if it's a good video, bad video, whatever, and I get up out of there and I get back to my work. I get back to my books. I get back to working with my birds. I get back to dealing with my real people around me. I don't put all of my energy into social media. That people think I do, but they have no idea. I don't.
We have a life outside of what we post.
I have a real life that I'm truly connected to. And guess what? I'm a person who, I'm palatable. So I know how to try different things. And if I'm good at it, I'll stay there for a little while and things like that. I know how to occupy different spaces happily, peacefully. But once it becomes a burden, then I'm starting to look for a way out. You know what I'm saying?
I agree with you on that note where people are misguided by the social media.
I think that is the ethos of it. That is what they wanted. Where's the light? Because this is some good. I like Zushi. Hello.
That's the yellow.
Yes, I like this. It's got me going.
Shout outs to the Zushi gang.
Yeah.
Appreciate you. Big shout outs to the Blue Zushi gang. You already know what it is. They the product sponsor of today. Thank you and appreciate you for showing us love and giving us the opportunity. It's your boy Fax. You already know how we get down. Blue Zushi gang. Well, let's get back into that. I really appreciate that you touched that subject because I feel like people, even me with doing this podcast now, I've noticed, some people are starting to notice me in the street. And then some people want to also do the podcast with me. And I'm going to be honest, if I could tell you how many people have asked me, I will have to split myself probably 20 humans in order to cover all these podcasts. So I don't want anybody to feel like I'm leaving you out or I'm not trying to get back to you. It's just hard. I'm one human. And it's hard for us to take on the whole world at once. So, try to bear with us. And what we do on social media does not connect with what we do outside of our real lives. You know what I'm saying? So that's where people, I feel like, are getting shit fucked up. They feel like what they see on social media, oh, that's the life. Nah, this is what we do as entertainers.
And
you know
then,
what I'm saying?
okay, it goes back to the post about lack of comprehension. Now you see why I said be careful who you date, because people that dropped out of school chose not to. See, people associate the school system with, the prison system. And although a lot of those things have some truth to it, what does that have to do with the fundamentals of learning? You still need those.
You got to push yourself.
You still need those. And if you want to take the knowledge that was given to you and go in another direction with it, that is your right. But that doesn't mean don't learn. That's not what that means.
100%.
And so with that being said, we go back to how people view things, what they value and what they view. And not only that, they're also their beliefs. So values and beliefs, beliefs are what is taught to be true. Values are what are dear to you, right? So I'm seeing what's dear to a lot of people. It is what other people think. And it's so toxic. I'm saying to myself, like, Jesus Christ, you're torturing yourself, man. Yeah. You really are. I've gotten into arguments with, quote unquote, pseudo celebrities on social media because I've left comments that, for one, these blogs they entice us to leave negative comments by the things that they post. They literally say and post things in a way that triggers the crowd. And I'm watching it happen. And I'm saying to myself, why is this stuff so important? I've watched celebrities get mad because I've said, not even pseudo celebrities. I want to be clear on that. Pseudo celebrities get upset when I say things like, who cares about this? Then they go, oh, you care. No, I don't. I'm just saying I'm trying to redirect the world, because I don't think that you doing drugs or not doing drugs is our business. I don't think we could save you. So why the fuck are we talking about it here?
That's
you understand?
100%.
There's places for that. Centers and therapists and rehabilitation facilities to cater to that bullshit. Word. Why are you fucking bringing it here? And everybody brings their shit to social media. They want to solve their problems and create their problems simultaneously on social media. And people are always telling me, like, oh, you don't have a man, you're lonely, you have a man. Oh, you have a man and you got a ring. And they want to know so much about what it is that I do. But guess what? I don't care what anyone says. Social media is not a real place to me. Please stop getting upset, because I've mastered the art of manipulation within that realm, because the realm is already manipulating you. I didn't do anything. It is literally like fucking Sims, okay? All I did was I took the virtual world and I took the fictitious world and I made some money off of it. And now they're mad at me because of it. And I just think that that's so ignorant. I think that's actually beyond ignorant. If there was another word to describe the level of stupidity that a person would have to think that I'm doing anything to them directly. No, I just jumped into the pool because I knew that the waves were spinning. This virtual world has made it easy for us to literally do nothing. Please look at the bigger picture. Yes, I'm doing these things from the comforts of my compound, but don't get it twisted. It's not a healthy thing. It literally took away from people joining the world of gainful employment. Now everybody has the option to do things within the comforts of their home. The government knew exactly what they were doing when they allowed this virtual reality to become some sort of a reality.
And it all started when the pandemic hit. I feel like that was it was like the
That's
beginning.
when things really took off.
Yeah.
That's
Because
when
people-
they really got to see the effects of their abilities as government. Government did that on purpose because they wanted to try out that little situation on us, and it worked. Now, Operation
whatever they got
is launched. Is launched, you know? And the thing is, people are upset with me over it. Please stop getting upset with me because I shared my opinion. I'm not imposing my logic on you. If you want to date someone that's ignorant and feel like you could save them, or you don't care if they're stupid because you're not there for a long time anyway, or you want somebody stupid, there could be a bunch of reasons why you're choosing to deal with that.
It's also like sometimes a dominance thing or
Right.
or
Some people want someone who's inferior to them intentionally so that they can feel superior because they know they can't revel in other spaces. The thing about it is, here I view life like this. I can only revere a man who can match my intellect.
I like that.
Because I don't want to be a bully in a relationship. I don't want to make you constantly feel like you're less than because you don't know as much as me, you know, and then eventually, you know, that stuff, it starts to rear its ugly head because it comes with a frustration. Now you're like constantly correcting. You feel like you're dealing with a child, and this is an adult. I don't have time to teach you. And a lot of people are like, oh, why can't you teach him? Why can't you teach him? You have to care about that person in order to do that. If I'm telling you that I won't even go past a hello once I realize the level of ignorance within a text message or even how you approach me physically, I'm going to say, like, it's never going to go that far. So you don't have to worry about me trying to teach you anything because we're not going to go that far. I already know you stupid. Good luck. That's how I'm going to treat that.
I respect that. You know, and like you said, everybody's entitled to their own opinions.
I teach children, not adults. Not adults.
I love that you broke that down. I'm glad we cleared that because I feel like people use social media to like try to define someone. Like they know who they are and like don't get social media twisted, bro. Social media is social media.
Like this girl could be how many times do guys post like, oh, look at her. She take all these pictures. She bad. She got all these. And then when you see her house, it's nothing like how she looks. Like, you know, all of these things, they you know, I think that social media has literally activated the judgment in people. You know, I think when people couldn't
like
see,
OD.
they didn't have much room to judge. It left people to their own devices. The world was revolving peacefully. You know, I think now people are so involved in other people's lives that now it's so to the point the feds have gotten a hold of social media. They use that against you in court. Jobs could use it against you when hiring or things like that, or even maintaining the position. You know, I just think that people have poured too much of themselves in the social media world to where it now personifies them. And it's now become, I don't want to say it's materialized, but to some degree it has. Because people are getting bookings and all of this is off of a digital screen. You know,
100%.
I'm watching comedians that were literally just funny people on social media now get literal acting jobs over people that have went to school for years to be actors and actresses. They are bumping them out.
Social media is also given opportunity.
It is.
So let's see it like
again, why I do what I do successfully on there, given the opportunity. It is not my fault, guys. And FYI, please stop getting mad at me. I think my parents, they made me look this way. Hello. Okay.
Let's get it. So now that we got that out the way, I want to get into like, well, what made you get into the veterinary technician?
All right.
Because I know that was your first step before you reach falconry.
So when I was a young girl, I had my daughter young. So when I got pregnant with my daughter, I never forget. Like, so, you know, I had a series of jobs, just like any American. You know, I worked in several places, McDonald's, Burger King, and Co-op City. Like, I worked in a lot of places. So I never forget, like, my mom, she was a realist. My mom was a teacher, God rest her soul. She was a special ed teacher, bilingual special ed teacher with a master's degree.
Bless.
She was amazing at what she did, and I learned so much from her. And that's why education is so important to me. She used to tell me all the time, if you're not going to, hit the books, you got to use something. You got to be beautiful, get by. You got to get by in this world. So I used to look at her like, what the
That's
hell?
some real shit.
So she used to be like, listen, figure out what you're going to do. Because, you're a smart girl, but you have issues with authority. So I didn't maintain jobs because I have a bad attitude. I'll be the first to admit it, and I'm sure a lot of people have gotten a taste of that. I have an issue with challenge and authority, and it's a lot of growing that I had to do through that. So keeping jobs in that world was hard for me. I was always moving from one place to the next because I was always beefing with somebody in my job, usually the manager. Long story short, my mom told me one day, because I went into college originally picking up psychology. I wanted to, study human behavior, which is still very much a passion of mine. But long story short, I never forget, because I was always like rescuing animals as a kid, bringing animals home. I was just obsessed with animals. I wanted to keep everything. My mom just always knew, like, this girl has the biggest heart for animals. So when I saw that they had a veterinary technician program, because I was getting like a C in my psychology class, and it was intro, and my mom was like, I can't believe you're getting a C, and you're so smart, and you know all of this stuff, but you're just like not applying yourself. And I'm like, first of all, the class is once a week and it's 3 hours. And the professor's like 100 years old, literally. It's like 98. So I was like, this is just not working for me. So I wasn't absorbing the way I should have. And then I never forget, I was leaving, and at this point I had already gotten into abnormal and child psychology. I was walking out one day and I saw the sign to join the veterinary technician program, and you needed a certain amount of credits, certain amount of classes within math and sciences to be able to join this program. So I was already there.
Perfect.
So I just joined the program.
Good thing you went to school.
Yeah.
That helped out. That's dope. That's dope.
And then I worked all over. Like I did emergency. I worked in, regular mom and pop animal hospitals. I worked in larger corporate animal hospitals. I've worked all over, but I did that for many, many, many years. Okay. And then I always said I would venture off into wildlife or exotics, which Wildlife's Exotics.
Shout out to Wildlife Exotics.
Okay, so I always said I was going to venture off into that. And then eventually, when I ended up getting property, Greater New York, a couple of years ago, this was like during COVID, actually. Okay. Literally it's like 5 years ago. I just jumped right into it. Jumped right into all of these things. I started to pay attention to these things and started studying and just picking up all kinds of literature on these subjects and just started sharpening my sword, and here I am.
What made you choose falconry?
I love birds of prey.
Okay.
And the thing about it is I've always had a thing for owls. I used to have a clothing line called Nocturnal Ink. So it was like a picture of an owl. And it's so funny because I didn't realize that I was truly manifesting these things. I kept saying, I'm going to get an owl one day. I'm going to get an owl one day. And I used to like my boyfriend used to be like, what kind of shit are you on? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm just going to get an owl one day. Watch. And now I have 4. So, yeah. So, right. So then now, fast forward, I just decided one day, I was like, I'm going to become a falconer. And I just studied everything, took the exam, got a sponsor, did what I was supposed to do, built a MEW, got it inspected by the state, just kept graduating to different levels of it. And then you become a general after 2 years of being an apprentice. And then next thing you know, you got your own system.
A MEW. Now, a MEW is the house.
A MEW is MEW. It's called a MEW.
Okay.
Or you can use the word aviary, but really, MEW. It is, depending on the size of the bird, it should be twice the size, the wingspan of the bird.
Okay.
So usually if it's a red-tailed hawk.
So it's a housing.
It's a housing. It's where you house the bird, yes. And it has to be built a certain way. There are specs on websites depending on the state. Every state has, certain requirements. You have to have, a nesting area, weathering area. Birds need to be able to comfortably stay in there whether they're tethered or not. Wow. Okay. Some people tether their birds within the MEW. Some people don't. They free loft them. I free loft my birds, because I do take them out like 2-3 times a week to train.
Okay, so free loft is taking them out to train?
No, free loft is when they're inside of the MEW, not tethered to anything. They just have on their anklets and they're just flying around in there.
Okay, got it. Because people are definitely going to ask about that. Now, another question I have about that. The expenses to build something like that also.
It's going to cost a couple thousand.
Couple of thousand, right?
Yep.
We spoke about that actually. Gave me an experience with Ruby, right?
Yep.
Ruby, the falcon.
Ruby's she's a Harris's hawk. Yep.
A hawk, sorry. Forgive me. She is beautiful. That's some of the footage we're gonna merge into this, so you guys get a feel for what she does and how hard it is also to be a falconer. Like,
It's work.
it's work.
You know?
People think it's something that you could just jump into. It's not.
It's not.
That's
and
why I
would-
had to get the
I
first-hand
recommend that
experience to
if
see myself.
Yeah, if you're truly in love with the sport, that means that you've already been a person who enjoys the outdoors. Because to accomplish anything within that sport, everything is outdoors.
Okay.
So that's the thing. If you're not a person who enjoys sticks, mud, trees, cold weather, tick bites, snake bites, any other animal bite, you understand? Like anything can happen in the wild.
No, and actually,
You're at the mercy of nature now. So you have to know that your bird is too.
100%.
Your
And
bird is at risk for predation, possibly when it's out there hunting with you. Anything.
predation is another animal.
Hunting.
Another
be
animal
hunted
trying
by
to,
another
wow,
species. Yeah.
That's crazy. That's something to worry about too, because some people will go out there and try to let them go hunt.
Listen, I've seen people let go their kestrels to go after smaller birds, and their kestrel gets attacked by a larger bird.
Wow.
It happens.
A kestrel is the small
falcons.
Nice.
Yes. Which are in danger in certain states right now. So, guys, please look into it. If you have any type of craft skills in building, join organizations. Please build boxes. We are trying to help save the species right now. So we need them to nest and reproduce. There's things that are happening. A lot of rodenticide or secondary rodenticide, technically, going around. So when I say that, I just mean that, and I mentioned this before, the birds that hunt these rats that are being poisoned are now being poisoned. And that will, reduce the population.
Wow.
Amongst all the other things that take place for population reduction. Starvation, lights, electrocution, things of that nature.
That's something that, now that I think about that, when they, feed off these rats, that's crazy because they also feed their babies when they go back.
Exactly. People don't take into consideration that the mortality rates of these birds are very high. People think that because they're hunters that they automatically give birth to new ones and then they all thrive and live forever. It doesn't work like that.
And just like
most of them don't even make it a year.
Most of them, yeah, and like you explained.
The mortality rate of a red-tailed hawk is 75%. That means only 25% make it past 1 year.
Wow. That's, wow.
Great horned owls, it's 50%. And that's
wow,
a larger bird.
Wow. I respect that bird because his chances of survival was very slim.
Very slim.
Wow.
Remember, they have to by the time they're 12 weeks, they're on their own.
That's right.
Maybe
You
the mom
that.
might stay around for a couple of weeks, maybe a couple of months, if they're lucky, to help them survive, so they can eat, grow, gain strength, learn how to hunt. But the ones that don't know how to hunt at all die. Just imagine the ones that are born with some sort of an abnormality. They get killed immediately. And then not to mention siblicide, that exists, You can have nest mates all together and then one will be the weaker one and they'll pick on that one or starve it to death. Things happen all the time. So it's not great majestic realm where all these birds survive to be,
That's tough.
the best of what they are. Like, it doesn't work like that.
Oh.
Things happen to them.
Respect.
We are actually their biggest predators.
That's crazy. Now, it's good that we touched that. I wanted to talk to you about also, like, a lot of people were interested, and I had to tell a couple of guys, I'm like, when we did that in the first interview, when you gave me the overall experience with Ruby, people were interested on thinking that they could just go buy a bird.
Right.
And you broke it down where it's like,
Process.
it's a process. When I explained to them that they had to catch their own bird.
Right.
Their perception of what they wanted to try to do, like they wanted to actually try to be a falconer, actually changed because they was like, how the fuck am I going to do that? I said, well, that's what they require for you to do. That's what you had taught us that day.
And you have to do it, in the presence of your sponsor.
Okay. What was your experience like? Your first experience catching?
It was exhausting because it was early in the morning and you kind of have to just wait around. We set out the traps and we have to wait. Some days we get lucky, some days we don't. On this particular day, got lucky. Bird came down because it was hungry enough. Luckily, it was a younger hawk, so it was easy to catch. Immediately, I covered the eyes with a hood, which is the thing that you guys often see us, use over the eyes of a falcon or a hawk. We use it to prevent them from baiting and reduce stress.
Okay.
So long story short, you do that, you catch the hawk. The first thing you want to do is you want to tape the feet to make sure he doesn't grab you with his talons. If you have a hood ready, which is another it's like a travel box.
Okay.
So it's two terms we use, interchangeable, the hood for the head, and then hood travel box.
Okay.
Put them in the travel box, or you can hold them in your hand if you're with someone. You can wrap them in a towel. And the first thing you want to do is you want to get them familiar with your voice. So you talk to them the kind of like the whole ride, and then you get them back to your house, and you know all of the work that you're going to do now is going to be indoors with them. So the first thing you want to do is weigh them. Make sure you get that weight. You have to log that weight. It's very important because that bird came down. That means that was his top performance right there. If he came all the way down and got caught up in that trap, that means he was ready. He was what we call Yarick. He was in hunting mode. You know what I'm saying? So when they're at their hunting weight, that is a very important weight to log, because now you know if you bring this bird down to this weight, he's not focused on anything but hunting. That means you're going to get the best training out of this bird, but it's only at certain weights. You know what I'm saying? And then also conditioning. Depending on the species of the bird. See, with owls, it's more conditioning than it is about weight management.
Okay.
But weight management is definitely important, because those few grams make a big difference in the bird, depending on how much the bird weighs. You know what I'm saying?
Movement
so we pay attention to that. So when we give them food, we weigh the food as well, because we want to make sure we don't overfeed. So now you got a lazy bird.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? You want to give them just enough so that they remain in a space where they know we're constantly working.
We're constantly
But
hunting.
when you first catch that bird, you put him away. After you get that weight, give him some time. You go in there, you get familiar with him. You know what I'm saying? But you make sure always that you put the gear on him. That's the first thing you want to do before you actually put him inside of wherever you're going to put him. I would recommend you get a bow perch and you actually keep him with you in the house. I would recommend that. I like to get familiar with my birds. So usually when I catch, I would, keep them close by, keep them with their jesters and anklets tethered to a bow perch on a very, very short bungee cord. Okay. And then, because they are going to try to fly. So if they bait and they try to get away because they're scared or for whatever reason, they see like your cat walking by or your dog walking by, they try to go after it. All of these things might happen. The bungee cord is actually extendable and it snaps back. So it actually won't put any pressure on their legs, because remember, all this string is on their legs. We don't need them to break their legs in any way. So we don't keep them on a long line, keep them on pretty short bungee cord. So they do that. And then you keep them there. You get them familiar with your surroundings. You talk to them every day. Once you see that they're calm, then you can start doing small things with them, because now they're going to be hungry, and when they're hungry, they're going to be willing to work with you. So that's how we're now starting to develop our bond. So it's little by little, it's a graduating process, but it takes weeks. And the thing about it is, even after weeks of conditioning and training, that doesn't guarantee that this bird still might not fly away once he's in his environment, So we do these things. We get them to work with us indoors. Once you establish the relationship of getting them to step to you and fly to you indoors, then you put them on a line, you take them outside. You usually recommend 25 feet. If you could get this bird to start using the lure right away, that's usually with, it looks like an animal shape. Could be a squirrel, a little bird, or even a rabbit-shaped one. Yeah, we usually tie some food to it. We toss it out. If the bird goes after it, you start circling, getting the bird comfortable with your presence while they're on this lure. So now they start to mimic it in their mind. Like when we go in the wild and we go hunting, and I want you to go after this rabbit, you're going to catch this rabbit, but you're not going to eat it right away. I'm going to walk around you. You're going to be okay with me doing that. You're not going to fly away with this rabbit. You understand? So all of this is to teach this bird that when we actually do this, you are comfortable and you follow all of the steps that we just went over for all of these weeks.
Together.
Right. Now, some birds will perform very well and they'll be the best. Some birds might
challenge you.
They're going to challenge you. Some birds might be a little bit lazier because they've realized now how you're the source and you've been feeding them. Why do I have to work so hard? I've seen birds rake their handlers. Raking is when the bird comes down and comes over you with their talons out, letting you know, like, I'm hungry, make something happen. Because remember, it's us that has to help them. So when we take them out, we automatically have to start going up to trees and bushes. We start rattling things to get prey to flush. So once they flush, then we cast the bird and hopefully, they retrieve the prey. And then, that's what makes the sport what it is. And it's a challenge because you only have a certain amount of time to do it, which is I think November to March. So you have November to March to hunt, which is a hunting season for everyone. for people that hunt with guns or birds of prey.
Gotcha.
Right. So you only, because by law that's the time when they allow it, because they know that, you know, food is scarce, right? So the challenge is on. Like now it's on 10. There's not as many deer. There's not as many rabbit. There's not as many squirrel. Like the hunt is real now. And that's what they want. They want you to really, truly exercise the animal and really understand the sport in the harshest environments.
Because
You know
if you
what
could
I'm
get, like you said, on the
Exactly.
interview, if you could get
Summertime,
them to do
spring is too
things-
easy. There's babies everywhere. That's not fair. You know, especially if we need these animals to procreate so that we could keep the circle of life going. Right? So if we interfere with that by killing off babies, we don't have adults, and then we can't, you know, certain species won't thrive. We're killing them off. It's unfair. It throws off the balance of the ecosystem. So with that being said, they redirect everyone to just one season.
One season.
Which,
That's
you know,
smart.
gives you time, because in the summertime and the springtime, you get to really know your bird, and they molt anyway, so they're a lot less hungry, you know, and they're weaker.
In that season?
Spring and summer, yeah, they eat less. Birds usually eat like 25% of their body weight per day in the cold,
Okay.
but in the spring and summer, maybe 15-16%. They drop down significantly.
Wow.
They don't work as hard because it's warm. So remember, they eat more because they need the blood to stay warm in the winter. But in the spring and summer, they don't have to work as hard. That's why it's okay for the feathers to fall out, because it's a season where they don't have to work as hard to stay warm. So they eat less. They go through their molting. You know, they eat enough to where they've stored enough food to where when they get weak, they don't die from it.
Molting is shedding.
It's basically shedding feathers,
Nice.
producing new feathers, and it's a painful process. Uncomfortable for them. All those little pins, those little sheaths. You know, they got.
Now, I have a good question. In falconry, I noticed you can't train an eagle, can you?
Yeah.
You can?
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't see what they do at the Eagles game?
Nah, you're putting me on to all of
You never
this.
the mascot. They send him out.
Oh,
he
yeah,
goes
that's
around
right.
the stadium
That's
and comes
right.
back.
That's right. That's
An
right.
American bald eagle.
Okay. That's hard. That's beautiful, man. That's
I hope to do that one day, guys. Please, like somebody like who has like a sports connect, please. I want to get in the stadium and do some work with one of my birds, like for real,
That's hard.
or their bird.
Giants.
Yeah, they don't got a bird. It's the Falcons and the Eagles.
And the Eagles.
Yeah.
Damn, that's tough.
All right. So now we're gonna get to the nitty gritty. Everybody's always asking me my opinions on relationships.
What is your opinion on relationships?
It depends on what we're talking about in terms of relationships.
Yeah.
It's very broad. People are always asking for it, always asking, and I'm like,
In what term? Like marriage or just dating? Like how do you feel? Like, because people are gonna ask you.
they're always asking.
So let's just give it to them. You know how you feel.
We're gonna talk about it right here, right now, at the Wake and Bake Show. We're gonna clear the air. Let's clear the air, like literally too, right?
Yeah, that's true. We got a fog in here. Shout outs to the Blue Zushi gang. You already
Yeah.
know. So let's get at it. Let's talk about that. What are your opinion on relationships? right now?
Relationships. I think that having a counterpart is amazing. I think that love is a beautiful thing. And I think everyone should experience it at one point or another, if not in its entirety, at least for a period of time to where you understand it. I think that a lot of people confuse lust with love, infatuation with love. You know, I think that's why people are driven brinks of mental health breaks, because they don't truly understand what's in front of them, or they do, and they just have high expectations of the person. And then when things don't work out, now they can't unpack and they're stuck.
That's
And they become
tough.
hoarders in their mind.
That's tough. I feel like having high expectations also sometimes can kill a relationship. You know.
Literally and figuratively.
Yeah, both. Like, you know.
People are literally killing each other.
Yeah. And expectations is cool. You know, I'm not saying don't have expectations.
I think expectations, standards, guidelines,
your
needs,
boundaries.
whatever you want to
Yeah.
classify it as, I think that you're entitled to have them.
Everybody is. You're
Yeah.
your own human being and feel how you feel. You know, and nobody knows how you feel but you.
But what I truly believe is that people aren't always good at communicating that, you know, articulating their feelings. Here you go back to the education point.
Mm-hmm.
Why education is key, because people that can't articulate their feelings usually get more defensive
100%.
a lot quicker. And the ones that get defensive are more likely to act out violently in some way, whether it's verbal or physical abuse. So the reason why I say it's important to have comprehension skills is because the thing is that you can't avoid pain. You know, the same way you want love, you have to know that there's going to be pain on the other side of that. If you're lucky, you might not go through it at all. But most of us, we've been through something. And people think, oh, she's a beautiful girl. She goes through nothing. Ixnay on the Upid stay. You guys are dumb to believe that. I am totally human, and I have been through my fair share of heartache like everyone else. You know what I'm saying? Especially because I'm a deep thinker. So I can't unsee things. You know, that's the thing about being an intellectual. It makes dating very, very, very difficult because you see the red flags so early on and you can't be that forgiving of it. See, most people might not see it. It comes later on. Some of them see it in the beginning and choose to ignore it. Me, I don't ignore anything. I see it and I'm already like, I'm going to have an issue with it. And once I have that combative spirit towards the situation, it's just, I don't see it graduating to anything else, you know? And I use that word so many times already within this interview because I want people to understand what it is to graduate, not just from school, but just in levels. You have to accomplish something here and understand it there before you can get to the next phase. Yep. And that's what's so important about relationships. Most people, they want to attack it. They want to get to the sex and the shopping and the trips and da-da-da. And nobody wants to deal with the real part of the person because now when all of that dust settles and all that excitement is gone, now it's just you and this person. And now you guys don't really know each other like that.
No communication.
And if you guys ain't turned up, now what, you know?
Like, what are we talking about?
Right. So it becomes conflicting, right? Or they just part ways, and then they do that with the next person, and the next person, and the next person.
Becomes a cycle.
And then it becomes a cycle, right? So then the thing is that eventually you keep giving to this person, taking from that person, giving, and next thing you know, you're just built up of all of these different people. You don't really know who you are anymore because everybody that you've connected to, you've kind of learned something from, right? So you might have picked up a habit here or two, right? Now, when it's all said and done and you've decided you want to relax and you want to find your counterpart, you're going to have difficulty doing that because you haven't given yourself time to know who you are. So busy connecting with other people. And I think that some people are free-spirited and they believe in sexual freedom. And I'm not knocking anyone out there who understands themselves in that way.
But be real about
But
that.
be real. But be real.
Be real.
You know what I'm saying?
Don't try to manipulate someone.
Don't do that. It's unfair.
Just
it's
be real
unfair.
because there's people who like people like that. And there's people who...
There are people out there who can understand a cheater.
They'll let you go do with other people and they'll go do them and then,
Yeah, some people are cool with casual relationships. You know, and then you have some people that are serial monogamists. Like myself. I am always in like long-term relationships. I don't believe in one night stands. And I said this on my stories the other day, and a lot of people were like, oh, you know, YOLO, and sometimes you throw caution to the wind and you just focus on having a good time. And if you guys are both consenting adults, what's the problem? And just use protection. And the thing about it is most of the time it doesn't go like that. Most of the time these one night stands are unprotected. Most of the scenarios. And that's the thing. And if everybody was a grown up like they claim and they were all like responsible and didn't care to have unprotected sex and focused on their health, then I would say go for it. But society just doesn't operate like that. If that were the case, then STIs wouldn't be at the rates that they are throughout all of these cities, right? So that's a bunch of BS. And the thing about it is people always associate my social media, my OnlyFans with my sexual nature. No, it's just pictures and videos. Please stop getting beside yourself. Some of us are prudes. And that's fine. Guess what? I ain't got no problem with that. You know why? Because I watch the news all the time. And guess what comes after the news? Commercials. And guess what kind of commercials I was watching? New medication for HIV. Okay? So I'm like, they got a shot now. They got a new pill you take once a month. I said they have advanced this motherfucker to, it makes it comfortable to live like that. I can't believe it. And all the while, you know, then at the end, you know, it quickly goes over all the contraindications. It kills your, don't do this if you do this, and it's contraindications. Like if you have kidney and liver, like I'm like, yeah, so you're basically gonna die from something else.
A whole bunch of
you know what I'm saying?
Side effects.
It's all these side effects. So the thing is that, you know, I see these things and And I'm a person who I process and then I over-process because I'm just overly analytical like that. And I look at these scenarios and I always say to myself, I don't ever want them to be me. And I have a lot of friends in this industry. So I know all of the true cautionary tales behind these photos and these videos that look like, you know, they're so eventful. But these girls are going through a lot for that. And I just can't see myself giving in for those reasons. Like, I've been on vacation with my friends. I've been on vacation with my family. I can't foresee myself, for one, doing something so memorable in a beautiful place with a complete stranger that I know I probably won't like at all.
I got you on that one.
I just feel like I can't see myself being stuck on an island for 3, 4 days, 2 days with somebody I don't even know like that. Now, I'm like, that's like getting off the train with somebody and just going home with them. Like, what the fuck?
I mean,
like we got off the 2 train and we just went to his house. Like,
it's like you don't even know if that person's a serial killer.
You don't know anything, and now you're you're at their mercy. Like, and they're paying for everything. And these girls don't care; they just want to do it on someone else's dime, and they want to capture the photos, the videos. They need to capture these moments because these moments work as like their currency. It becomes currency so that they can exchange with others, so they can show their value within this world, right? And then it attracts a newcomer, and then another one. But then next thing you know, they're all rolling on top of each other. Everybody's experienced each other at one time or another. They all got a story about this one, that one. That's all you see on social media. This one's baby mother, baby father, stories about this one, he's fucking with this one, da-da-da. Like, and I just be looking like, this is too much. And with all of that going on, I say to myself, I don't ever want to be a part of that.
And what's crazy is you do all the stuff you do, and you still live your life nice and privately. You know what I mean? And I love that you don't let nothing get to you. That's so dope. You know, being that you have your man or your husband, excuse me.
Listen, right? I have a life is what I have. I want people to understand one thing is that my spirit is not one that is to be taken lightly. So I don't connect with just anybody for just any reason. It would, you know, like, and I'm not saying that because I'm looking for anyone to approach me either. Please don't. Nope. Definitely not looking for any suitors. I like my life the way it is. I'm chilling.
That's what's up. I respect that. I ain't mad about that. You know they're gonna attack that. They're gonna definitely be like,
they always want to know. I'm telling you, like, and I just want to add to some context to this. Like, you guys have to understand something. If you truly value something, you cherish it in ways that you wouldn't share it with just anybody. Just think about your favorite toy or your favorite snack. When you come home, you tell everyone, don't touch it, it's mine. You know, this is your favorite thing. You want to enjoy it. That's the way I treat my private life. You know, my loved ones, whether it be my counterpart or my family or even just moments with my animals. I don't want to share every little thing because that's for me.
That's where we go back to. We have a life outside of social media. Yeah, that's for me.
That's my dose of happiness. I don't need to hear what anyone thinks about it. I don't care. Like, it's not your business. It's my life. This is my life. Right? Because I'm going to do what I want to do ultimately anyway. So what is the point in sharing it?
Respect. And I hope y'all get that through y'all heads, man.
Yeah, like, to be clear.
For guys and girls out there, you know. And I love that. And communication is definitely a big part of any relationship, whether it's a relationship with your girl, a relationship with a friend.
Social, romantic, professional. Every form of the word. Key. If you don't know how to convey your feelings. See, it's not so always just what you say, but always how you say it. You can tell someone, like, you're being an asshole. It doesn't sound painful as opposed to something, you'd be a fucking asshole, yo. Like, then it's like, wow, that was harsh. Okay, right? Because you said it with so much emphasis. You put passion into it. You even use profanity, right? To exercise the extent of how frustrated you are.
I love that you said that. It's not what you say, it's how you say it.
Right, it's how you say it. So people are always saying, oh, your delivery, or Chela, you seem angry. I'm not angry. I'm a passionate person. Like, when I speak with conviction. And a lot of people are not used to that. You know, everybody's been so pampered. Like, I remember I came from a time when people were called fat. They were called ugly. They was called whack. And you had to live with it. Now it's shaming, and it makes kids suicidal, and there's just so much phobia. Like,
yeah, it changed. Times changed. We grew up different. That's one thing I can say. Our era is
latchkey kids were real, man. Latchkey kids are real. I think that people just don't understand that I can't value what they value because I do come from a different time. So because I've been through things and I've seen how times have changed, but I've watched the process and I've watched things go from bad to worse over the years. And I'm saying to myself, I remember when we had more control over certain things. And I don't know, some people might think that because there's a generation of quote unquote free thinkers, we have more control now. But the thing about it is, what are free thinkers without the physical ability to follow through in whatever plans they can formulate? You guys can come up with something as free thinkers now because you guys understand how things truly work. You guys have the ability to make change, but are they physically doing it? How could that be if AI is literally the umbrella?
We're stepping into
everything.
the new frontier now.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, this is where we see how things shape up. The new frontier, baby. The new millennium. Let's get into it. Now, I got to ask you something since we tackled that stuff. I want to get into the cannabis. You've seen the transition. We come from an era where, this was illegal to us.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about the cannabis industry today?
I think that, for one, to watch so many people be able to legally make money from it now, when it was just always a plan. It took so much channeling, but finance too, for them to see that it wasn't what they thought it was. Tobacco is actually far more dangerous than marijuana, okay?
I like that.
So there's that, right? So they understand now who the true killer is. But now they're trying to figure out how to make money off of this federally. So this is where it's now destroying the people that have been making money off of it privately for years. Like your typical weed man. Mm-hmm. He's now being literally pushed out of business. Most of them aren't doing well because they're not the go-to person anymore.
And
there
it's
are
everywhere.
So many shops everywhere. Like, it's so accessible.
From illegal to
right. They
legal.
they have infused drinks. They have food. They have restaurants that serve it. Like, you could live like. And then here's the thing though. As much as I love smoking weed, why do they want people to stay high all day?
It's kind of like how they put liquor stores in every other corner.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Why do you want people to stay high all day? Why do you make it so accessible now?
Well, I think
because they're still working their plan. COVID was the first phase.
They see, I feel like
now we're gonna make them sleepy.
And the money too. I feel like the money, they seen how much money it actually generates, right? So the economy, this is actually helping the economy. Cannabis is actually helping the economy because they didn't see how, like, the potential of what it can do.
Well, now because they've tapped into so many medicinal, connections.
And they allowing now the medicinal
distribution.
And also the work behind the scenes that they didn't allow before. Now they allowing doctors to work on it, do research. Before
they literally prescribe it to cancer patients. Anyone who's in pain, they get prescriptions for it. They get cards.
And that's a blessing because I interviewed, shout out to King Fights Cancer, his dad. They were on the show. What they had to go through when it was illegal was crazy to me, So
that they could stay out of pain.
Just so his son could stay out of pain. Because his son had cancer in the blood, They decided to give him cannabis oil instead of giving him the pills. And ever since they changed the medicine and decided to give him cannabis, things turned out better for him. He started eating more and, he explained a lot of good things. He responded well to cannabis.
Right. That's the thing. The efficacy or the potency, basically, how everyone reacts to it is going to be different. Mm-hmm. But that's why they have to monitor the levels of THC within it. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what they're doing. They're trying to monitor that closely. There's a certain percentage they won't go past. And I think that is great that, the industry is thriving for the most part. I think that, it makes it fair for the people that always knew it wasn't as severe of a crime as they made it out to be.
I love that.
You literally
you said
overturned
that like
every criminal that sold weed. Like, now he's a hero. So, okay.
And free all the prisoners that's still locked up for cannabis. Shout outs to the Last Prisoner Project, putting up a stand for those guys that are still locked up for cannabis charges. That's big. Which they moving on it, and they've helped and have pushed and helped a lot of inmates, not a few, a lot of inmates actually get freed. But they're still working on those that are still locked up.
Yeah, they need
in
to
certain
get to
states.
it.
Yeah,
they need to get to it.
Not all
those
states.
are low level crimes, man.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Come on, this ain't nothing but a thing. I'm just kidding.
And it's also how you be responsible. Let's talk about the cannabis, right? I like that you also broke it down a little while ago. You expressed that, they're being more open about it. But because they're being more open about it doesn't mean you abuse, be responsible, just like alcohol. You know what I'm saying? If you got things to do in the day, not everybody is an everyday smoker. So, be responsible about how you smoke. Don't let it slow you down, and learn your balance. There's a balance to everything. Yeah. That's the advice I got for people out there, and the people that self-awareness. So what was one of your favorite strains back then? What was, like, when you started smoking, What was
Gorilla Glue.
Gorilla Glue? That was your first strain?
GG4.
GG4?
Yes. And I still
At what
to this
age was
day,
that? At what age was that?
Oh no. Back then it was we was just regular Arizona.
At what age was that?
That was 16.
Okay, now the Gorilla Glue, the GG4, that was the exotic, the first exotic paint that you.
I love GG4, and to this day I still buy it.
Okay, at what age did you get to try that? Was it shortly after 16 when you?
Yeah, it was in my 20s.
Okay, so about 4 years later you got introduced to GG4. Did you smoke sour before that?
Yes, actually I did. I did smoke sour. Oh my God. You know, I used to pick it up and put it down a lot depending on what I was doing in my life. And if I felt like I needed to be more focal about it, then I would avoid any type of recreational things like drinking or smoking. So
I used to swim also.
Yeah, I used to swim in college. I used to get up every day at like 5 o'clock because I used to do varsity. So I used to have to do practice swimming before the actual practicing for the team. It was a lot. And I was swimming for like 2 hours every day.
Did you get high anytime before you
No. Nope. No, hell no. Because you'll be winded in that water, man.
Okay.
Yeah, especially if you're doing a breaststroke, man. If anybody knows what that's like, it's exhausting.
I asked because, Michael Phelps, he's champion. I wonder if he smoked before he smoked.
He's at a point where he's like physically he's top tier.
Honestly, as a professional, I think he's very professional. He definitely smoked after his swim.
Yeah.
After
physically, and then not only that, your body's sore.
Mm-hmm.
Right now I don't swim anymore, of course, unless I'm I open my pool and I'm just hanging out. But right now I do Pilates, and people don't think I work out. They're like, oh, she got a body done. This fake, everything's fake. No, I work out every day, guys. Cut it out, literally. Like, leave me alone with that. I work out like literally Monday through Friday. Shout out to my studio. I love them. They're great. Shout out to Kelly, my instructor. I do Pilates, sculpt, fusion. I do like all these different classes, right? And because as women, we have to stay in shape, especially not even just women, humans. We have to stay in shape because
that's 100%.
When the minute you stop moving, that's when things start happening. Stay active, guys. I'm telling you, that's my advice. Stay
100%.
active and do not stop moving. Keep your bones strong, keep your muscles tight, and get in the groove of making it a lifestyle because it's very important for life.
100%.
You know what I'm saying is the reason why, life expectancies are so short. I say to myself all the time, like, they don't take into consideration those athletes, what they go through physically to perform the way that they do, right? So they're performing in front of the world. They're doing the best of their best. Everybody's impressed with them. They're winning all these medals. Let them be, man. Let them be. Like the girl, what's her name? Sha'Carri Richardson. They did the same thing to her. The girl still runs faster than a damn hare. Leave her alone. True. She gets high and she still will outrun the police. Like, leave her alone. If anything, worry about why the police are not being able to run. You guys lowered the standards physically for them to join the force. Like, now you got all these big belly officers that can't run a mile. Like, are you kidding me? You better leave Sha'Carri Richardson alone. Not all of them. Changed. I don't hate cops though.
They actually changed some of those laws. They're more lenient now in the sports world and the industry when it comes to sports.
Listen,
it's
you
just
got Ja Morant still putting
states.
up gun symbols after paying all those fines, having all those suspensions. Back to comprehension, guys. You see what I'm saying? Some people haven't been evaluated. That is one example of that. Something is wrong with that man. Like, really and truly. I say, wow, you like trouble, huh? Like, really?
Okay, so GG4, right? That was like one of your...
I loved GG4, Northern Lights.
You fell in love with that?
And Northern Lights.
Okay. What was your first experience hot like?
Oh my God. I remember I was with my ex-boyfriend. I was 16. He was the first person to give me smoke.
Okay.
There's no shout outs. That was a life.
That was at 16.
That could have ruined my life, so he does not get a shout out for that.
Oh man, that was a bad experience.
No.
Oh, okay.
It's just, I'm not gonna shout somebody out for giving me a habit. Like,
okay.
that just seems, come on. Like,
but it's a good habit because it helps you today.
It is a great habit because I've learned how to find balance in the recreation of it. But
okay, I got you.
Trust me, he's not getting no goddamn shout out. But
so how was that experience for you?
I remember the first thing I was like zoned out, glassy eyed. Everything felt like it was like zooming in and out. Okay. I was like, what the fuck is happening?
You had a Matrix experience.
Right, like everything felt like numb. It was just so weird. And then I didn't do it for a long time. I said, no, I'm good. And then I let him do it by himself for a long time. And then I think like a year later or so, I picked it back up. And I got into the groove of it with my best friend. Shout out to Odie High, Gregory. That's my son's son. We used to cut school all the time.
Okay.
And just go to the mall and smoke weed. We were like mall rats. It was weird. But long story short, you know, we used to like run around the Galleria just shopping and getting high. And I don't know. It was fun. I think it was more of an enjoyable experience with my best friend.
Okay.
And it made it easier to digest what was happening to me and get comfortable. And then you start to normalize a lot of the feelings.
Okay.
And then it becomes relaxing because
Nice.
you now know what to expect. So now it's not, there's no fear there anymore.
Got
so
it.
you now enjoy the high. See, the reason why people are afraid of it is because they don't understand what's happening to them.
You
And
wound
they-
up understanding.
Right. You have to learn how to settle into the change of what's happening to you. And a lot of people don't know how to do that. They're not comfortable with that, and that's fine. Some
And that's
people,
why
they
they don't like weed.
Right, they don't like
They don't
it,
like
right.
that feeling.
Some of
But
us,
you can overcome it after a while. You just have to get comfortable with knowing what the high
he's
is
not
like.
he's not showing you the way. No, he's not. He's not showing you the way. Don't do it if you don't want to. It's fine. Over here giving them the step by step. What the hell, Fritz? Like,
I'm a good coach. Just like your friend. He got you comfortable, right?
he did.
And you learn to understand. You
But
know.
then no, and then when I had my daughter,
Okay.
I got pregnant with my daughter. I didn't smoke for a long time.
That's good willpower. Some
I
people
was just
feel like they'll
I was
need
I was
the
a
need to keep
mom
going.
and I was working at the post office and things like that. Shout out
Okay.
to the place that I hate. It was one of the jobs that I hated, the post office. I hated that job. I got fired because I threw a scanner at the supervisor. I hated that lady.
Sheesh.
She was evil. Again, goes back to what I was saying earlier in the interview about my temper and not being able. Like, I couldn't even maintain a government job. Man.
Pass her a blunt.
Maintain a government job. My
Alright.
attitude was the illest.
So what's one of your new favorite strains that you've tried lately that you've gotten a liking to?
I liked the apple fritters.
Okay.
That was a good. one.
Okay. Apple fritters is really good actually.
Yeah, I
I
like
love
this
apple
like
fritters.
fluffy, and I like the little orange hairs. It was
Nice
really-
structure.
Yeah, yeah.
And definitely tasty.
Yep.
Definitely tasty.
Yeah, it was good, and it was very relaxing.
Okay.
Apple fritters.
What's a pet peeve for you smoking? Like when you're smoking with someone, what's something that really like, you know?
Please do not put your wet ass mouth all over that damn tip. If you keep licking your lips and stuff, I'm not smoking with you. I'm gonna let you smoke by yourself because now I'm just focused on the amount of DNA that I'm about to split with you. While all I'm trying to do is get high, you are turning this into a science project. What the fuck, man?
I love that. I love that. I
Yeah,
agree
come
with
on,
you 100%.
man. I'm not
That's
trying
one
to
of mine
swallow
for
your
sure.
Spit. You might as
That's
well
one
spit
of-
in my mouth at that point. The fuck? Like,
That's for sure. I respect
and I don't
that.
mean it like sexually. I mean, because it's like you keep licking that thing and licking your lips, and now it's all wet, and then you passing it to me. And
No good. What's one of your most memorable experience? Did your mom smoke? Did your mom?
not weed. She smoked cigarettes.
What did she ever catch you high? What was your first experience with your mom's noticing you high?
She did. One time,
Did-
she laughed. She was
Oh,
like,
yeah?
"You idiot."
Oh,
I was
yeah?
like, "What?"
Oh, you had the coolest mom.
Yeah, but then she knew I also put it down. I put the
Okay.
habit down when I had my daughter. I was a very young, responsible mom. I
believed-
immediately adapted to the responsibility of being a mom, so I didn't pursue drugs for years.
I got you.
Yeah, no.
That's
And I
what's
only
up.
have one kid for you weirdos. Okay, everybody's always like, "Oh, she's got a bunch of kids. She's probably got like mad kids. She's got baby fathers." Blah 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 blah. No, bitch, I am traumatized. I got one fucking kid. It wasn't the greatest experience with her dad. And guess what? I didn't fucking do that shit again.
I hear
Okay,
you.
and trust me, yes, all the suitors have asked, and every man that I've ever been in a relationship has at one point or another tried to get me to adhere to the concept of having a child, but I just always saw it as a lot of work. Some of us, don't look at it as a beautiful responsibility. Some of us see it as the responsibility, and I love my kid dearly. I will die for her. But the thing is, I don't want to die for 3 kids. I can't die that many times. So,
Man,
just leave me with the one I got. Not a
It
cat.
is tough, yeah, because it's tough raising children.
And I know my
agree
mom,
with you
she
on
had
that
to,
shit.
it
It's
was hard for
expensive,
her,
man.
me being my mom's favorite. Sorry, guys. I know if you see this, you're going to be angry, but it is what it is. Mommy said I was her favorite. And long story short, my mom, I watched her have to split herself in 3. Like how she had to deal with us all so differently. She didn't handle me the way she handled my brother and my sister, and I was a middle child. She never tended to me as much. And I do have middle child syndrome. It's a real thing. Right? So, she never tended to me as much. She didn't feel the need to because she always knew, like, she's a survivalist. She's going to figure it out. She knew that from day one.
Are you learning that from your brother and sister?
Yeah, like, I've watched him, my brother
observing.
being the youngest, how he was coddled and he kind of has complexes. And then I watched my sister being the oldest, but she had her own set of issues, so she was kind of always coddled too, more than anyone actually. How they I love my mother dearly. I still feel like I need her, but they needed her in different ways. They needed her physically more than I did. I needed her emotionally, spiritually. She didn't always have to be there physically, but as long as I knew she was around, I was cool with that.
She motivated you to
She
be
did.
who you
My mom
are,
did an
like you said in
amazing
the
job.
beginning.
She always told me, speak well, express how you feel, and, make sure your words have impact. Choose them wisely and don't share them with just anyone.
100. So you said, what was your latest again that you like? Your latest favorite strain?
The apple fritters.
The apple fritters. Okay.
And stayed super focused on what was in front of me.
What? Oh, shit.
See what happens when you get high, guys?
Yeah, I'm high right now. I ain't
What
gonna
kind
lie.
of interview?
That's that
I'm
cook.
just
That's
kidding.
that cookie. Shout outs to the Blue Zoo.
Look at these little fancy pockets. He showed me, guys, these are little ashtrays that you can carry around. Like,
All right, let's give that shout out to Mills.
I like this.
Shout out to Mills.
Mills. I like this little nifty thing.
Yeah, this is hard.
Make life easy.
Pocket ashtray.
Outside. Psh, psh, psh.
Okay, so another question I have for you before we jump into my last few questions, which is like a small trivia on cannabis. As far as I know, you had your own brand, a collaboration, right?
I did have a store at one time. I had Milk NYC Lux.
Okay. No, the brand, the cannabis brand.
Oh, yes. Oh, I did. We had
gonna
the
jump into that,
blueberry
though.
swirl, yeah.
The blueberry swirl.
Mm-hmm.
That was a collaboration, right?
That was, shout out to Tefno Bucks. That was my
Okay.
homie.
Okay.
We had a collaboration together, and it did really well. It was like in 11 spots all throughout Brooklyn.
Okay.
And they really promoted it for a while. And, of course, you move on to different strains.
Yeah.
They've transcended to so many other areas, I guess, in terms of strains. But we did have a little project out for a little while. And I'm always doing projects with different people. So if you
Okay.
guys ever want to work, let me know. We just got to get the good artist on deck, which I got. Get
Take it from
something,
there.
yeah, done up, and we'll put it out there in promo and get some brands, some notice.
All right. So let's talk about before. Also, you was mentioning Milk and Clucks. That was your business, right?
Milk NYC Lux.
Mix
yeah.
NYC Lux.
Well, it was more of a project. You see, I see so many girls open stores.
Yeah.
And order things in bulk and sell it, and then sometimes it goes well, sometimes it doesn't. Of course, that was a project that you have to put a lot into it, and you have to financially be ready. I did it for like 1.5 to 2 years.
Okay.
I kind of fell back from it. It was really more so to help my daughter and her friends get the feel of being an entrepreneur.
Okay.
I wanted them to understand what it was to work for themselves, and it lasted for a short period of time because that's what teenagers do. And then they kind of all dispersed into different places of their lives, and they're all working in the world of gainful employment now. Now they want to work for themselves. Well,
That's cool. At least they working, trying to figure out a way to work for
yeah, and
themselves.
I think it was a healthy project that kind of shined a light on what it would be like if they did decide to go down that path.
And they will.
Yeah.
It was already, at least you installed
Listen,
that in the back of their memory.
Exactly.
Yeah,
One
for
day
sure.
they'll wake up and they'll remember the process, and they'll probably go start their own.
All right, so last but not least, we're going to jump into the trivia. I
Okay.
know, all right? So I always do this with every guest here. So before we do that, though, let's give a quick review. Today we chose to smoke. Big shout out to Blue Zushi. Today's smoke of the day was the Yellow Zushi by Blue Zushi. Shout out to Chela. She chose the Yellow Zushi. How did you feel about Yellow Zushi?
I actually enjoy it. I am cruising right now.
Okay.
Like I'm relaxed, but not to the point where I'm not functional. And I think that's what I can appreciate the most is the fact that my wheels are still turning.
It's a functional high.
Once my words kind of can slip out with ease, I don't think that I have much to worry about.
That's what's up.
When I feel stuck now, then we have a problem. But if
Okay.
I can convey my feelings and I articulate the way I normally would if I wasn't high, then I know that this is a decent high.
I like that. So this is, you would say, is a good productive.
Yeah, I don't want to be dumbed down.
I like
No.
that. I like that. So shout out to Yellow Zushi. If you had to rate it, what would you give that?
Oh, right now this is like a 9.
I like that. Honestly.
So far, I like how I feel.
Okay.
Right? Like
The
it's
taste
not-
overall.
Yeah, and I don't think I even look terribly high either. Like
That's what's up, man. So shout out to Zushi. I appreciate you guys being a product sponsor. Thank you very much. We got as for me, the yellow Zushi, I would rate it about the same. I like it. It gives me a nice high. I'm very functional. I could go about my day. Every day, like I could say, is anytime smoke. That's how I would put it. You can smoke it in the morning. You can smoke it in midday. You can smoke it at night. Still be productive.
Right. So it's like a good general high.
So big shout outs to Blue Zushi once again. That's my rating. Really love that, man. Shout outs to y'all.
So if you're looking to get your
Keep
work done,
producing
you
that.
can definitely get your work done with that one.
For real. All right, cool. So we did that. We got that out the way. Now, before we close out, any shout outs you want to give to anybody?
Shout out to all of my team, people that support me at Wildlife Exotics. Megan. Shout out to Swift. Shout out to, anyone who's ever donated to our GoFundMe. If you are looking to exercise any type of skill as a falconer, if you want to get into the sport, I suggest you contact your U.S. Department of Fish and Wildlife within your state. I know I said U.S. Department, but the reason why I say that is because you have to go to your state's website, and all the information on how to take the exam and where to get the literature on the exam would be there. Again, the same thing would be for wildlife rehabilitation if you want to get into that and become licensed in that area. I just want people to know that the options are vast when it comes to working with animals. But more so than anything, you have to love what you do. These animals need people that are true to them, not someone who's looking to use them for the sake of personal gain or entertainment. These animals are already exposed to so much and are at risk on a daily basis. And it's people like myself that are doing whatever we can to keep them thriving. So environment is such a big deal. And if we don't learn how to take care of it, then we can't take care of them and they can't take care of us. The ecosystem goes in a circle. So without them, there's no us. So it's so important that we take them into consideration the same way we would do ourselves. A lot of people are kind of cold-hearted when it comes to animals, not realizing that they are the number one messengers of when nature starts to change.
100%.
Okay, so when migratory patterns are affected, weather patterns change, they notice it. And that's why in movies, the first thing you see is animals react to something in the nature. And usually it could be bio warfare, whatever, they respond first. So, when there's trouble afoot, please don't ignore it. It's a big, big thing. And a lot of people think it's BS, but it's not. It's real.
Let's give a big shout out to Wildlife Exotics. Make sure y'all follow Wildlife Exotics. Definitely super dope. Also, before anything, we let everybody preview before, with the experience you gave us. You had 6 birds. One more question I had to ask you. All the birds you have, you captured? Because you say you have 6, right?
No, I didn't capture all of them.
Okay.
Most of them I acquired through my licensing.
Okay.
Yeah, so as you become a falconer,
Yeah.
not as an apprentice. An apprentice, you can only have one bird, and that is the bird that you catch. But don't think that the bird that you catch is going to be whack, because it's not.
Okay.
Just want you to understand, a hawk is no joke. Especially if you catch like a nice, good-sized juvenile hawk.
Yeah.
That means that's going to be a powerful bird. Strong bird, big, fairly big bird. They usually weigh like 2.2 pounds,
Wow.
the big, healthy ones. And so that's some competition for you. Or if you like the smaller birds, you can go with an American kestrel, which are smaller birds, but, they're really tricky to keep alive. So just know that there's going to be some focus there when it comes to weight management because they're smaller birds. So you have to pay attention to weather and all of these things. Remember, birds, they tend to drop weight when it's cold out because they work harder to stay warm, as I mentioned. So you have to make sure that they maintain a certain weight where they can survive in harsh environments unless you're bringing them indoors.
Like you expressed earlier. Yeah,
right.
facts.
So some of the birds that I have, I've acquired through other falconers because, the birds are of no use to them for whatever the reasons. Like Ruby's case, I told you she was a rehabilitation bird. She's neurological, so her handler couldn't use her for hunting.
So that's a separate license, though, right?
Yes,
rehabilitation license.
Yes, that's a different license.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And you have to also have your MTBA, which is your migratory treaty bird permit.
Oh shit.
That allows you to possess these birds, meaning to actually have them in your care.
All right.
Right.
So
there's several things you have to have.
So that's 3 licenses you have to have.
And I'm also a veterinary technician.
Okay. Cool.
Right. So
but required, they need those 3.
Well, I think as an apprentice falconer, you will have one bird, whether it's a red-tailed hawk or an American kestrel. You can have either one. Okay. That's either one you have to capture. That's going to be your bird you have to keep for 2 seasons. Okay. So basically 2 years. Right. So you have to keep them for 2 hunting seasons. Or if you lose that bird or if that bird dies, you have to capture another one. So that you can maintain your license throughout this period of time before you are off on your own. You're not off on your own till you finish your 2-year process and you're a general falconer, which is what I am. I'm a general falconer.
Gotcha.
So now that I'm a general falconer, I can have up to 3 birds in my possession as a falconer, and then as a wildlife rehabilitator with the MTBA, I can possess up to 30.
Oh shit.
Right.
Okay.
So
okay.
that's why I have different ones for different things. Like Ruby is not for falconry.
Oh,
She doesn't
gotcha.
do anything in falconry. She can't.
What's Achilles?
Achilles is exotic.
Okay.
So he falls under rehabilitation. I use him for education though.
Nice.
Achilles is the man.
That's the first one that you caught
Yeah,
my eye
he's
with.
the man.
Achilles.
He went off trying to breed. We're trying to see what's going on with that.
Nice.
He's this big,
You
beautiful
don't have
boy.
a little Achilles?
We're trying to see. Yep. So he's a good boy. Miss that boy.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
You're gonna get him back after?
Yeah. When it's all said and done, like divine timing, man.
That's dope.
Gotta wait till God says so.
All right. Chela, it's been an honor having you here and
thank you.
helping us understand, how to go about falconry, and also giving us your time and breaking things down for the world out there who have all these questions on the gram that sometimes you don't have time to answer because you can't be on it all day, We try, but we got our lives outside of it, so. And remember that it's entertainment, guys, and we also use it as a tool to get to, to do what we do. Like, I'm a podcaster. This is a tool. IG is a tool for me to use, to make you guys view what we're doing here. You know what I mean? As well as what she does.
He's letting you guys have that scope on the guest. And he opens the doors to these information, these portals, questions you guys ask.
And along with that, you got to understand we have a live outside of this too, man. So
all the time.
It's love. Chela, I appreciate you coming by and killing it with us here today. Big shout out to my product sponsor, Zushi.
Zushi.
You heard? Big shout outs to Blue Zushi. And shout outs to Flour Mill USA also. My guy Brent showing love and, also supplying us with the 3D, grinder. V2 grinder. Big shout outs to my camera guy, Easy Films on the films. You already know what it is. I appreciate you, man. Without this can't be done. And big shout outs to Antidote Studios for allowing us to use this studio to do our podcast. It's your boy Fax signing out for the Wake and Bake Show, baby. We out of here.